How's it going? It's Ethan here at eTrailer. Right now we're going to be taking a look at the compact steel Hitch Cargo Carrier from Flint Hill Goods and how it fits on our 2022 Chrysler Pacifica. So with the Pacifica we have a good amount of storage in the back, but if you're going on a long road trip or even a short trip where you just want to get some larger, heavier, maybe some messier items, you don't want to keep them inside your vehicle. This is a great way to get them outside while still being compact and really durable. So let's take a look. This carrier has a 500-pound weight capacity. It's made of steel with a nice black powder coat finish, so it's really well built and it's going to be durable, especially out in the elements when you're driving or things kicking up from the bottom and hitting it. Also, it is going to be still really lightweight. It's only going to come in at about 25 pounds, even though it is made of steel. So you can compare that to the aluminum version. It's only a couple pounds heavier, but I think it's going to be a lot more durable. Taking a look at the inside design, there's basically just these three beams that run straight across, so you should be able to get most of your items on here while still having room for that dirt, debris, or whatever to fall through. On the sides here you can see our rails, so we have about 4¼ inch of depth on the inside here. That's how you're going to be able to stack your items if you still want to make contact with the side rails here. Also, we do have some places for you to put your straps throughout these steel beams on either side. Those are going to be a great way for you to fasten your gear down. And we do also have these reflectors, one on either side, especially because it is that black powder coat. Driving with this at night, it's nice for people behind you to know that it's there. From here, I'm going to get a couple of measurements just to give you an idea of what it would be like to add this on to your vehicle. Starting with the total distance added, so from the bumper to the furthest point out, it's only going to be about 21 inches, so it is really compact. As far as the ground clearance goes, it's going to be from this point here about 9 inches, but that number is going to change as you start loading in some heavier gear. It's definitely going to go down, so be mindful of that, but it does sit close enough that it doesn't extend to the point where it should be making any sort of ground contact. But again, once you start loading it up, just be mindful of what that's going to do to the overall ground clearance. Another thing to be considerate of is that once you start loading up your gear, depending on where it is, if you're loading it in the middle, there are a few things to watch out for. First thing being, do you have hatch access? So I measured it and I found that you can stack things up to 13 inches before this breakover point when you open up the hatch and make contact there. Also, when you start stacking things up, you will maybe interfere with your license plate or your backup camera, because those are both right here in the middle, but that shouldn't be an issue. And if you do stack things high enough, I definitely recommend picking up some straps or a net or a bag to keep that protected and all secure inside the carrier. The carrier does have a 2-inch shank that fits into our 2-inch hitch receiver. It's held in place by this Anti-Rattle Bolt here. Not my favorite design. It's not threaded, so it just goes through, and it's held in place by the flange nut and the clip on the other side. So it's not going to pop out or anything, but it definitely doesn't hold it as secure as just a threaded anti-rattle bolt. But for this carrier, it's not a huge deal. While we're down here, we also just like to take a look at the exhaust to see if there's going to be any sort of issue with heat-sensitive items. So it is pointed a little bit downward, but it is kind of straight at the carrier. So it does have the potential for maybe some exhaust to rise back up and make contact with some items here in the back, but it's not straight at it. So I don't think it's going to be a huge issue. But if you're idling and the exhaust is just pouring out, that could be a potential issue. But when you're driving, I don't see it being a huge problem. Overall, if you're looking for a quick, lightweight, and easy to use solution to get a little bit more storage for, like I said, those longer trips or just short trips to the hardware store to pick something up that you don't want to keep inside your car, this is going to be a great option for you. Flint Hill Goods does have a variety of shapes and sizes for these Hitch Cargo Carriers. This one is probably honestly the one that I would go with, just because it's that steel finish with the black powder coat, so it's the best built. This one I think is going to be a great option for you if you just want something you could take out, keep in a shed or a garage, put back in when you need it. But they do have different shapes and sizes available if you want to check some of those out. This again was just a quick look at the Flint Hill Goods compact steel Hitch Cargo Carrier and how it fits on our 2022 Chrysler Pacifica.